I'm Nashar in Capitol Hill. The government shutdown is headed into a second month, and if it goes past Tuesday, will be the longest in American history. President Trump losing his patience and now calls on Senate Republicans to eliminate a centuries-old rule that gives the minority party a say on most legislation. On the eve of Halloween, President Trump issuing a directive to his party that, for many, is a frightening scenario. In a pair of social media posts telling Senate Republicans to initiate the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster, and make America great again.
What you're seeing is an expression of the president's anger at the situation.
The filibuster is a 60-vote threshold required to advance most legislation in the Senate. It's considered one of the last bastions of bipartisanship in Washington. If the filibuster was eliminated or a carve-out was created for this scenario, the Republican majority could pass the House Republicans' short-term budget and end the government shutdown. But Senate Republicans have to want it first.
Supermajority requirement is something that makes the Senate the Senate.
That was Senate Majority Leader John Thune October 12th. On Friday morning, his spokesperson said Thune's position on the importance of the filibuster has not changed.
The filibuster protects. It's been a voice for the minority. It gives the minority a say in what happens in this country. The founders created the Senate uniquely that way for that specific reason.
Following Trump's post, Republican Senator John Curtis of Utah says, "I'm a firm no on eliminating it." Through spokespeople, Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso, former Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Senator Tom Tillis were among those who also rebuked the president's request. That's enough Republicans to block any attempt to touch the filibuster. There is another person other than Trump calling to nix the filibuster, but he's not a Republican.
Carving it out the filibuster now would make it almost impossible to shut our government down in the future, regardless if it's the Democrats or the Republicans doing these things.
This week, the Senate failed for the 14th time to pass that short-term budget, as party leaders still have not engaged in direct talks with each other. As for the House, they're scheduled to remain out of Washington all week next week for the 7th week in a row. On Capitol Hill, I'm Nashar.
Good evening. Hundreds of thousands of West Virginians are not receiving their SNAP benefits today due to the over-month-long government shutdown.
That's right. Now, Joe DeCristofaro is showing us how the West Virginia National Guard is lending a hand.
There are 2 major food banks and over 800 food pantries in West Virginia. On Saturday, most all were busy helping provide West Virginians with meals who aren't going to see their SNAP dollars as soon. Working alongside the food banks were over 200 soldiers and airmen from the West Virginia National Guard. Facing Hunger Food Bank CEO Cynthia Kirkhart says the help was very much needed.
Regardless of how the SNAP benefit thing rings out, we still have a shutdown. And food is needed at the holidays, and it's needed by everybody who is suffering through this. So we're glad to be in this strong partnership with the state and certainly with the Guard today.
Facing Hunger serves 12 counties in West Virginia, and with the government shutdown lasting over a month, paired with the frozen SNAP benefits, Kirkhart says the food is being sent to the areas that need it most.
We have really focused on the southern coal fields, which typically have the highest food insecurity rates. Clearly, we have a lot of local pantries. I think we're seeing a lot of the government shutdown effects here locally.
Nearly 300,000 West Virginians rely on SNAP to put food on the table. That's around 1 in 6 people across the state. Kirkhart says while the circumstances around SNAP continue to be in question, the goal remains the same.
We obviously have a framework of a plan, but as the need changes, we have pushed food actually to the outposts for the Guard, so they too will be able to be responsive. So we'll just see how it goes. But what I know is, like today and every day, together we're facing hunger.
The West Virginia National Guard mobilizing troops to help local food banks and pantries. West Virginia National Guard Adjutant General James Seward says the Guard is also providing around 11 pop-up pantries in areas where there are no food pantries open this weekend.
There are soldiers and airmen here at Facing Hunger as well as Mountaineer Food Bank at the warehouse and at pantries across the state. And they're partnering with the food banks and partnering with the pantries to make sure that no West Virginian is without food this week or for as long as this shortage goes on.
Seward says for many of the men and women of the Guard, the mission at hand of helping West Virginians have dinner on the table is meaningful.
And many of those soldiers and airmen are in counties they're familiar with, and maybe working with a fire department that they know, and that there's really no greater service that they can provide to folks in their state than helping them with this basic need.
In Huntington, Joe DeCristofaro, Eyewitness News.
New developments tonight concerning SNAP benefits. 2 federal judges have ruled the Trump administration has to keep them flowing. The courts say USDA must use emergency reserve funds to make payments during the government shutdown. But it is possible that November benefits may only partially be funded. That could leave many in Michigan vulnerable. As Mid-Michigan Now's Kyle Macon reports, state and local officials are speaking out about the situation, which hits close to home for some.
So when I stand here as the sheriff, when I stand here as the emergency manager, I stand here also as a brother who's going to take care of his sister because government didn't.
Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson is pleading with the federal government to prevent a pause in SNAP benefits and help people just like his sister. If the pause does go into effect tomorrow, or if recipients only receive a partial payment for November, 1.4 million Michiganders may struggle to put food on the table.
It's over 492,000 children, over 38,000 veterans. Seniors are 36% of our recipients.
Nessel is among 25 other attorneys general who have filed a temporary restraining order against the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Our lawsuit demands that the Trump administration utilize the contingency emergency funds that Congress has already appropriated to ensure SNAP benefits are not interrupted.
The AG says Republicans are blaming Democrats for the pause, and the USDA website even has a message indicating, quote, the well has run dry. Nessel claims that's a lie.
According to legal documents filed by USDA just yesterday, approximately $5.25 billion of this fund remains available.
She says the USDA could use that money in this situation.
Congress has clearly spoken to provide that SNAP benefits should continue even during a government shutdown. The USDA does not have the authority to say otherwise.
It appears that 2 federal judges agree in rulings handed down on Friday after Nessel's news conference. Attorney General Nessel says the court decision makes it possible for recipients to see funds reach their bridge card in 3 days. For the time being, several food pantries across mid-Michigan are lending a helping hand to those in need. In the studio, Kyle Macon, Mid-Michigan Now.
And it's a battle playing out in Washington now, and it's one that's hitting home for families right here in El Paso, especially in terms of health care. More than a month into the government shutdown, the future of Medicaid funding remains uncertain. CBS 4 at 10's Mark Baugh spoke with an El Paso man who says losing health care benefits could have a devastating impact on his family. He joins us live in the studio.
It's the ongoing debate between Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill. More than a month into the government shutdown, one El Paso resident tells me losing these benefits, especially with potentially rising rates, could impact his grandfather, who relies on federal assistance.
My grandmother passed away earlier this year, but I remember she was telling me, at the end of last year, she had to go pull out loans to help cover her payments for her doctor's visits, for some of her prescriptions.
El Pasoan Michael Rosales says his grandfather depends on Medicaid to help manage his Alzheimer's. Recently diagnosed and now transitioning to at-home care, Rosales worries about the financial strain his grandfather could face without federal support. Open enrollment for many health insurance providers began today. Created under the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare, it's designed to give families better options for affordable health care. But with the government still shut down and Medicaid cuts underway, experts say there are concerns that premium rates will increase.
Premiums are ultimately what you pay into the insurance. And so some states are seeing their premiums go up by double and triple the amount. We don't know what it looks like here in Texas.
Christina Paz, CEO of Centro San Vicente, says that raising rates could make it harder for people to enroll or renew their coverage. Georgetown University reports that as of 2023, 22.7% of El Paso County, more than 190,000 people, rely on Medicaid.
Some people may not be able to afford it, so they're going to choose not to go covered. Healthcare can be expensive, right? So a lot of individuals are going to choose paying their bills and putting food on their table versus getting healthcare.
Open enrollment is meant to help people find or switch to more affordable plans, an annual option since Obamacare passed in 2010. But with no end to the shutdown in sight, Rosales says his grandfather is worried about what happens next and the financial impact that may be caused.
Like I say, I have seen a lot of those people unfortunately struggling with those benefits and with the shutdown. So I do hope it ends soon because I know a lot more people can breathe easier.
Cristina Paz says Centro San Vicente will continue providing health services to those struggling to keep their benefits. You can find more details on that over at our website, cbs4local.com. Reporting live in the studio, Mark Baugh, CBS 4 News at 10.
Travel along Potter Street in East Providence during the daytime hours. Allison, Mario.
Thank you, Kristen. The White House has until noon today to respond to a Rhode Island federal judge's order to release SNAP funding. NBC 10's Katie Benoit joins us live from Providence this morning with the latest on that. Katie, good morning.
Good morning, Mario. Thousands in southern New England did not receive their regular SNAP benefits over the weekend, and local leaders say enough is enough. Now today, Providence Mayor Brett Smiley and Central Falls Mayor Maria Rivera are speaking about the federal ruling. They say the federal court made it clear that the federal government should use the $6 billion contingency fund to pay for SNAP benefits. Millions of dollars have been shifted locally to try and ease the pain for SNAP recipients who have not gotten November's payment, but it won't be enough. Community members are stepping up to help where they can through food drives.
Not right, it's not fair.
People need to eat and they're scared. And if we're part of their hope and we're running out of groceries, then where does the hope come from?
And it's not clear when people would receive SNAP benefits on their EBT cards. Local officials say that if you have money from last month left over, it does roll over to this month. Live in Providence, Katie Benoit, NBC 10 News.